Hey, what's up, guys? Books Nelson here, and today we'll be doing a Michael Beasley full-on breakdown. And so let's get right into the content. So what we're looking for here is not whether or not Beasley's good or great. Is he the best two guard in the game, or is he the second best two guard in the game? That's kind of what it comes down to with Michael Beasley. And when I say second best, there might be other people tied for that second best. But Beasley at 6'9" has just so much to offer. So let's get right into it. So first things first, you got to talk about that jumper, right? Terrence Mann based with the Kobe upper is just absolutely fantastic, easy to read. I use the Kobe upper in Rec and Pro Am. It's so good. I know that technically meta, the Oscar Robertson with the Sadiq Bey is what you want to use, but I use Kobe Sadiq Bey because that is my comfort zone. And here with Beasley, it's just absolutely remarkable of a jump shot. All right. So we'll look at the leaners as well. Same thing. Leaners absolutely fantastic. No complaints there. Super easy to see that shot cue. And yeah, Beasley has been fantastic all year. And that's not going to change with his Dark Matter card. So let's go ahead and look at his SIGs and talk about that stuff. So it is worth note that he has the Steph Curry layup package, which gives you these really far old school circus style layups, which, you know, depending on what's going on at the rim, they can be useful in certain scenarios. But for the most part, once you get towards the basket with Beasley, you're going to be stick dunking. That's what you're going to be doing. And we see right there, he's got the John Wall moving crossover. So tool number one, burst to the basket, John Wall moving crossover, and get on the stick dunking, and you're good to go, right? With the Kyrie Irving dribble style, which he also has, you don't even need the hezzy burst out of it. You can just run in one direction, crossover, get to the rim. Now with the hezzy burst, you do get a little bit more of that explosive beginning animation, but I don't think it's a real difference. I think if you're sizing people up, it makes a difference because you can deceive them. But for the most part, just that Kyrie Irving dribble style into that John Wall, you get on the rim real quick, 6'9", nothing stopping him. Already embarrassment of riches. All right, so Kyrie Irving dribble style, you know what's up. You know, the push crosses and all of this stuff are very quick, changes directions very quick. But the main thing is, out of whatever size up you do, you can explode in any direction out of that size up. That's the main thing about that Kyrie Irving dribble style. You do a regular size up and you go out of it. So this means that any combos you set up, you can end the combo with that right there, right? It's just like Street Fighter. If you can end a combo with a fireball, well, you know now you can end all your combos with a fireball or a dragon punch. It's the same thing here. You can end all your combos just by running out of it. So whatever you do setting the character up, you know that you have that, you know, basically that kill shot to finish off a combo with that Kyrie Irving dribble style. And you see here with Beasley, it's particularly smooth for some reason. It just feels very smooth. You don't feel any hitching at all, even on a 6'9" card. Now, I will say, because he's 6'9", even with this Steve Francis, which is the next SIG we'll look at, right? The Steve Francis size up. So the benefit is they move like more because they have larger bodies, right? But the drawback is you have to wait a little bit before doing everything, right? So to give you a quick comparison, let's compare him to, say, Dr. J, right? Which will be very similar in a lot of ways. So you see Dr. J, he has the Michael Jordan dribble style, but even with that, right? If you look at the way he's just quicker, right? He just moves quicker left and right. So even though he has that Michael Jordan dribble style, he's just a little snappier than Beasley. And that's what I was talking about in the De'Aaron Fox breakdown. The smaller the card is, the better they move, even if they have the same SIGs and the same stats. You know, height is a benefit on offense in terms of shot contesting and dunking, but it's a benefit to be shorter in terms of movement, right? And the same thing is true for shot speeds. Shots are a little faster with smaller cards as well. The smaller you get, the faster the shot speed can get, right, in this game. All right, so let's go back to Beasley real quick. But even with the 6'9" movement tax, he still moves extraordinarily well, right? So let's talk about some more of these movement options. He has Tray Escape. Now, I will say, his Tray Escape, he takes a long time to start this Tray Escape up. You have to wait a really long time before doing any explosive bursts. And for that reason, I think the Tray Escape is actually a little less useful for Beasley than it is on other cards because he's got that Kyrie Irving dribble style. It's like, yeah, Tray Escape is good, don't get me wrong. But because he has this long startup, it's a several frames of startup, I don't think it's as useful from, say, a neutral dribble. Where I do think it's particularly useful is, say you're doing this Steve Francis crossover, right? So Steve Francis has this little hop crossover, right? And if you do it in rhythm, he can kind of hop back and forth. If you do it too fast, he'll get more of a combo. But you do it in rhythm and he'll hop back and forth. So if you want to explode out of this, you can explode out of this with the Trae Young. But because of the Kyrie Irving dribble style, you don't really need to do that either, right? So like even if I go to the same side ball hand, I can still go as well. But I do think that the way the Tray Escape just kind of allows you to move is a benefit. It is a benefit to use it in that scenario. But from a pure standstill, I don't know if I would rely on the Tray Escape because you guys can't feel it. And maybe if you look at the controller on the screen, you can see I have to input that Tray Escape and then like literally wait for it to upload to the server before I can explode out of it. And it's not as explosive as it is on smaller cards. So, I mean, not a warning, but it's really more because listen, I know most people are not going to get the Beasley. I didn't get the Beasley. I'm using someone who lent me the account to use the Beasley. Most people aren't going to get the Beasley. This is more about teaching the game, you know, and how the game works. Understanding that if you have Tray Escape on a larger character, there's that much more of a delay. And if they don't have the Kyrie Irving size up where you have to use that Tray Escape, you know, you just got to wait on it a lot more. All right. So, okay, moving on to the next dribble. Combo moves. So he's got this combo move. It's a very, the cool thing about this combo move is it combines very well with this John Wall snatchback and with the Steve Francis size up, right? So you do that combo move into the Steve Francis size up, and the Steve Francis size up has this like behind the legs crossover, this automatic auto combo. And so it really gives him a lot of, it kind of gets around the 6'9" element of the card in terms of him being not as shifty. Like if you were to do the escape dribbles and stuff like that, he can't like L2 escape as well as other cards because of that delay. But you can kind of fix that with the combo moves, the Kyrie Irving dribble style, and the Steve Francis size up. As you can see here, the card moves very well, you know, very shifty. He can kind of do whatever he wants to, moving around like that, right? Okay, so we talked about so let's look at his breakdown moves real quick. That's actually a solid little breakdown combo, to be honest with you. Nice little change of pace. And again, with that Kyrie Irving dribble style and the Jamal Murray behind the back, I actually think this is not a terrible setup combo, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know. So this aggressive breakdown move, it has this slow startup. I don't know if that's easy to pluck. It's definitely harder to pluck these breakdowns, but I will say the dribble that he goes into afterwards is kind of nice because he has the Kyrie Irving dribble style and because he has that John Wall, he can, you know, he can snatch out of that, right? So you see here, it's just a different rhythm with all of this stuff. He really can be very creative as a dribbler, you know, and that's not even with us getting into the standard stuff. He's good with that. So just really talking about the standard stuff real quick. That's what the momentum looks like, and that's what the misdirection looks like as well. So he can do all of that stuff also very easily. He moves very well doing that stuff, especially for a 6'9". Moving really, really crispy with that stuff as well. So when you talk about comboing people up and setting people up for the kill, this card literally has it all. No complaints. The only minor thing about the card is that Tray Escape on the 6'9" card is pretty slow. And I was doing some left stick cancels, and it's just really slow with him. It's just not viable, in my opinion, not viable with him the way it is with other cards. Other cards, you can really, you know, chop people up with that. With this card, I think the Steve Francis is much more effective for that kind of stuff. But, I mean, that having said, that's why you give a card to Steve Francis, right? Because he can set up and chop up with the best of them just using that Steve Francis. And with the great combo moves, in addition to that, he really has access to everything. And the one thing I will say is let's take a quick look at the Tray Escape into like the front explosion, right? Gotta wait for it. See, like he wants to hold on to the ball so long. There you go. It takes so long. Like the Tray Escape takes so long to come out with this character. Yeah. So he can do it, But I think even with that, it's more effective to just Steve Francis and go out of it. The only thing is like when you escape and you go forward out of an escape, I'm doing the between the legs to see if it's faster. But when you escape and burst out, like it just rocks in a really cool way. To give another example, I'm going to do that same thing again with Dr. J, just to show how smooth that can be on a smaller card, right? Right? So with Dr. J, he can hit you with this all day, you know what I mean? And really just rock the baby to sleep. So you mix that in with the size up, and you see what I'm looking for, right? Like that tool there to really size people up. So you can size up, escape, and go with Dr. J in a way that you can't with Beasley. And again, it's just discussing the card. This doesn't make the card bad in any way, shape, or form. Just showing you the differences between using the tools of a 6'9" and the tools of a 6'6" and 6'7" card, because there is a difference there when it comes to that stuff. With the size up stuff, much less of a difference, and that's why I would say relying on the size up is key there. All right, so we already discussed Jamal Murray behind the back. You guys know what that is by now. My team community starting to deal with what we've been dealing with all year in the rec and the pro-am. So yeah, I mean that, and he's got Pro 2 leaner. Let's see what the Pro 2 hop jumper looks like. Generally not a good hop jumper. Not that he really needs a good hop jumper, but it's worth noting that he doesn't have one, right? Let's see what it looks like going straight to the basket. I don't mind it going directly to the basket. So if you're going directly to the basket, too close to the sick dunk there. But if you're going directly to the basket and you want to stop on a dime, Pro 2, that's not terrible, right? You can get that off. The ones to the side, I just don't think they create enough space to realistically trust, you know? And yeah, so with the John Wall Hezzy, he doesn't really have access to a hop because he hops too far. That's the benefit of the Steph Curry and a few of the other ones is you get the short hop. He gets the run out of bounds hop, so you got to be careful with that. Let's see the Hezzy. And we didn't talk about his Hezzy at all. So this is what his Hezzy looks like by itself. And this is what the Hezzy looks like combined with the Kyrie Irving dribble style. You can burst at different times with that to get that off also. And you also have the Hezzy with the Jamal Murray behind the back. And of course, once you do the Jamal Murray behind the back, you do it a second time if you want to explode going to the basket, or if you want to Jamal Murray back in the same direction, you can do that as well. And with the Kyrie Irving dribble style, you don't necessarily have to do the Hezzy to run out of it, but I do think the Hezzy is just a little quicker. I just feel like there's a few frames of the animation chopped off when you do the Hezzy out of the Jamal Murray behind the back. You guys can look on screen, but that's 5-5 or 7-7 o'clock on the stick or on the right stick, so 7-7, and then I can burst out of it. I like to delay the second 7 to get a smoother exit out of that, right? So 7-7, right? But if I'm going back and forth, I'll do it a little quicker. 7-7, 5-5, 7-7. But yeah, so you mix up all of those tools, and you have basically a perfect 2-guard, right? Excellent shot, excellent dribbles, excellent dunking, excellent size, excellent player model. Is Michael Beasley better than Glen Rice? I will say, if we look at Glen here, and I haven't used Glen in gameplay yet, so, you know, I can't literally say, but Glen's shot is just so fast with that patty base. Like, it's up and over his head basically instantly. I think that still will probably give Glen the nod, particularly for people who are playing that kind of game over and over. However, I think as an overall card, ooh, I don't know, man. Beasley's knocking on the door, and you could talk me into it. Glen's shot is faster, is snappier. He's still absolutely Zeus in the game, and you're splitting hairs even with the comparison, like even shooting with the card. The ball literally just flies out of his hand. It's crazy. You almost can't even pump fake with this card because he shoots so fast. But Beasley is like literally the very next best thing. And with his size, you know, with his movement, with his dunking, if somebody said they liked Beasley better than Glen Rice, I'm not mad at it at all, because he is, you know, I mean, honestly, his shot is also really fast, man. It's like just a fraction slower. So yeah, loving this Beasley card. All right, so that's going to do it. Yeah, if people are pulling packs, get Beasley. Obviously, I don't judge people for pulling packs. Play the game how you want. Spend your money how you want. Best of luck to you. But I will say, if there's a card that you're going to do that for, Beasley fits the description. Thank you so much, guys. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.